Dear students and my friends all across the world, very warm welcome to Dr. Zia Ahmed YouTube channel. Today again I'm going to record chapter 13 of Hawthorne's novel, The Scarlet Letter, for the benefit of my students. As I said in my last video, that chapter 12, 13 and 14 deal with the change inside and outside of the characters in this novel. In the last video, about chapter 12, we studied what was the physical and mental change in the character of Dimmesdale. And this chapter is dedicated to the change which we can feel in the character development, in the outside, in the inside of the character of the girl, the woman, Hester Prynne. The major theme of the change is that the woman who was considered to be sinful and she was attached with the letter A to be a sinner as an exhibition all over the area, that has changed. The perception has changed. Even some people have started to say the A may not be for adultery, it may be for some other thing which may be useful, which may be beneficial. She has proved with her conduct. So, once again, this is an example given by the writer that a woman, if she is courageous enough, she can deal with the highest possible difficult situations and come out victorious out of that. This chapter is going to let us know about all this type of change which comes in the community about Hester Prynne that we are going to study. So chapter 13, as I would show you, it is here about Hester Prynne, another view of Hester, the title of the chapter is there. The title goes to show that it's not only the social view about Hester, but also it is the view of Hester about herself and about the area in which she is living. So let us see what this chapter has for us. In order to understand this paragraph of thematic nature, may be studied first of all, Hester saw or seemed to see that there lay a responsibility upon her in reference to the clergyman, which he owned to no other, nor to the whole world besides. The link that united her to the rest of mankind, links of flower, of silk, of gold, or whatever the material, had all been broken. Here was the iron link of mutual crime, which neither he nor she could break. Like all other ties, it brought along with its obligations. This small paragraph is very significant in the sense that Hester has started to think in a different way. He thinks that although she was declared to be a sinner and then she was asked to break herself from the society social norms, and she had really broken. She went to live in a different space which was not normally visited by the people. So she was in a way alone, and she had tried to break from the humankind, or humankind attempted to break from her. All these things continue to happen, but she says that in her mind a link, very strong link, maybe because of the partner of the crime, but also because of the love, but also because of the two human beings attached with each other and suffering equally. That link was present, and that was present in the mind of Hester, and Hester wanted to address that link in order to change, bring any positive change which was possible in the life of herself and that of the Dimmesdale. So that paragraph also goes to show the kind of change that we are going to study in the character of Hester, that she has realized this thing and now she wants to proceed with that. In order to know more, let's see more in this chapter what we can have. This is again another passage which is really very significant. It says, Hester, when pestilence starts through the town, in all seasons of calamity, indeed, whether general or of individual, the outcast of the society at once found her place. She came not as a guest, but as a rightful inmate, into the household that was darkened by trouble, as if its gloomy twilight were a medium in which she was titled to hold intercourse with her fellow creatures. There glimmered the embroidered ladder with comfort in its unearthly ray. Elsewhere, the token of sin, it was the taper of the sixth ember. It had even thrown its gleam in the sufferer's barred extremity. Across the verge of time, it had shown him where to set his foot, while the light of earth was fast becoming dim, and at the light of futurity could reach him. In such emergencies, Hester's nature showed itself warm and rich, a wellspring of human tenderness, unfailing to every real demand and inaccessible by the largest. Her breast, with its badge of shame, was but the softer pillow for the head that needed one. She was self ordained a sister of mercy, or we may rather say, the word's heavy hand had so ordained her, when neither the word nor she looked forward to this result. So that is the kind of change. We know in the beginning of this book, of this novel, we had a very different view of the people about Hester. And Hester also thought herself to be a criminal person. And the badge that was letter of adultery on her breast that was attached to her, all these things were very difficult for her in the beginning. And the social hate and dislike was also available. But this paragraph goes to reflect a very different thing. For example, here we are being told that the thing which was considered bad in the past time, now the same thing with the same person is considered to be the best one. She has, with the passage of time, proved herself to be very beneficial, very loving, very caring to all the people of that area. So wherever nobody else could come, she would go there and offered words of kindness with her presence. And wherever the people were suffering from with some disease or with some extremity or with some any other problem, she would go there and she would present herself as a company, and she would also try to talk with them in a very best way. For example, the deathbed of the people, where the people were going to change their life from this word to the next word, there again, as a comforter, as a person, not the comfort in the sense of any other bad thing, but in the sense of presence, that she was there in order to show up herself with the sense of mercy, with the sense of love. She would be always present there. Same was the case with any other person who would need the presence of a person to feel good or to feel that the thing may go right. Hester would be present there. So Hester became a source of removing of difficulties, of issues, of problems, of natural calamities, of disease, of death. The difficulties she proved very useful in order to remove all that. Now, this is the turnaround. This is the change which Hester has brought in herself, and the society is also thinking in these terms. For example, if we close this discussion of this paragraph with the last sentence, it says that she was self-ordained a sister of mercy, or we may rather say the words heavy hand had so ordained her, when neither the word nor she looked forward to this result. So that is the change, that from hateable woman she has converted herself into the sister of mercy, not by the order of the church, but by the heavy hand had so ordained her. The problem which she suffered, that has given her this type of opportunity, and that type of thing has happened to her. Attached to it is this sentence as well. They said that it meant Abel. So strong was Esther Prynne with the women's strength. So the letter A on her breast, which was the symbol of adultery of her sinful net, no because of her behavior, no because of her usefulness, no because of being good to the other people, no because of showing mercy towards other people, that has been translated as Abel instead of A, that is useful for humanity. So that is the change possibly which Hester has brought about herself, and which Hester has brought about her image, which the people have been following naturally, or whatever their effort was there. That is the change that has come inside her mind and outside of her appearance as well. Let's see more about this. It says, for example, let us read this paragraph which is next present. It says, the public is despotic in its temper. It is capable of denying common justice when too strenuously demanded as a right, but quite as frequently it awards more than justice when the appeal is made, as despots love to have it made entirely to its generosity. Now, here the writer is trying to preach a type of philosophy that if you want to gain something like justice, like honor, like credit from the society, and if you demand it with force, possibly the society won't give it. It will become harsher and harder. But if the same society is requested, if it is appealed with the passage of time, it may give even more than wanted. So that is the norm of the society. That is the norm of the people, that you cannot demand. However, the society may be offering to you something which may prove good for you. So that is the philosophy which the writer says has been going on. So let us see how does it happen. In the next passage we see, do you see that women with the embroidered badge, they would say to strangers, it's our Hester, the town's own Hester, who is so kind to the poor, so helpful to the sick, so comfortable to the afflicted. Now, this is the very passage which I would say is really the passage that brings before our eyes what is the change that has occurred. For example, the people who looked at her with the symbol of sin, these people now are looking at her with a very different light, and that light is quite visible when the people say that, look at the woman with the badge, embroidered badge, she is our own Hester. Now, these words, our own Hester, contradict the very words which she was told to leave the place or to live at a separate place, a segregated place in the heart, in a way, she was declared an outcast from the society. That is 100% different from this statement that is visible to us. For example, in this statement, you see what is being said: who is so kind, so poor, so helpful to the sick, so comfortable to the afflicted. So actually, Hester has proved herself a comfort, a kind of mercy, a kind of love for all those people who are suffering. All those people who are suffering because of any reasons, maybe disease, maybe calamity, maybe injustice of the society. She has proved a person to be good to all the people, and that is the change which has happened here. Now, let's see more about this in order to see and close the chapter to observe this change. Underlined lines, for example, had she fallen among thieves, it would have kept her safe. It was reported and believed by many that an Indian had drawn his arrow against the badge and that the missile struck it and fell harmless to the ground. The small passage also goes to indicate that the view about Hester was changing. She was thought to be a power. She was believed to be a person who has some kind of divine power in her. For example, even the thief would not attack her. It is being reported here that once an Indian threw an arrow on her, and that arrow struck the bosom, the letter A, and it struck down and fell down harmless without harming her. So such incidents went to prove her power, that she is so much powerful. That was the image of Hester which has changed her view, and that was the inside image in the mind of Hester that is changed now. She is ready to support and help the person who is, though a company in her crime in the eye of the society, but may be helpful as well. And she is also thought to be a saint-like person, a sister-like person by the people. That's the change which has come. Now let's read this paragraph. It says, Providence in the person of this little girl had assigned to Hester's child the German blossom of womanhood to be cherished and developed amid a host of difficulties. Everything was against her. The world was hostile. The child's own nature had something wrong in it, which continually betokened that she had been born amidst the affluence of her mother's lawless passion, and often impelled Hester to ask in bitterness of heart whether it were for ill or good that the poor little creature had been born to her. This paragraph is also significant in the sense that although everything bad was considered about Hester, but the charge of bringing up of that child, Pearl, that was assigned to her. Now, this is also taken in two ways, not just in one way. Whether Pearl's bringing up was a useful thing, was a kind of punishment, or it was a kind of reward for her. But most of the time, Hester thought that it was something very bad, it was something very cruel that she has been assigned with this duty, because the child was also behaving in such a way that she was trying to prove a kind of trouble for her. As soon as the child was growing, the more problematic it was becoming, the more bitter it was becoming. Probably it was because of her being born unnaturally or unnatural way, as the religion would say. So in that way, that was one of the problems which possibly would not be settled so far, although the social appearance or the eye of the people started to look at her with some person as a good person. So let us see what else we can have in this chapter to understand more about the change. Possibly we don't have any other passages, maybe it's a small line just to be read by us. It was impossible to doubt that whatever painful efficacy there might be in the secret sting of remorse, a deadlier venom had been infused into it by the hand that proffered relief. A secret enemy had been continually by his side, under the semblance of a friend and helper, and had availed himself of the opportunities thus afforded for tampering with the delicate spring of Mr. Dimmesdale's nature. That's the understanding of Hester, that she is thinking whatever is happening, there is something which is happening to the minister as well, and that is eating me out, that maybe the physical enemy standing beside, or maybe somebody else. This physical enemy, according to her, is definitely the person who had been her husband in the past time, that is Raja Chillingworth, or there may be something inside her, which is understanding about the condition of Dimmesdale. That is what she has started to understand, which possibly she didn't understand in the past time, and that is the overall mental change which she is having. Next time we shall be talking about this chapter 15. But so far, this chapter has ended, that is chapter 14, that is dedicated to the change in the character development of Hester, of understanding of Hester, about this word, how this word behaves towards a person who knowingly, unknowingly commits a crime, and especially if it's a religion-related crime, what is the behavior of the society? It immediately outcasts the person. But if the person continues to live according to the morality established, or continues to live with the kind of kindness with the people or towards the people, the things can change as well, as it changed in case of Hester. So we can say up to chapter 13, Hester's character is changing. She is understanding something about Mr. Dimmesdale also. She is understanding something about her child also, and she is being understood rightly by the society as well. And the place and the space which society accorded to her, that is also changing in the mind of the people. So that was about this chapter. Thank you for watching. Hopefully you have understood something about this novel. And if yes, then why not to hit the subscribe button or the like button. See you in some next video. So far, keep happy, keep peaceful, keep loving.